burn your house down. All right, so it's cold outside, so it's time to start the furnace. Whether it's coal or wood, we need to do a couple of things before we do that, just to make sure we're doing things safe. And what I do is this. Filter. You always want to change out your filter. If it has a recirculating fan that runs through your house, go through your filter. I just re-changed out. I need to change it out. This helps with airflow and a whole lot of other things that we're not going to talk about right now. But change it out. So we're just going to do a simple cleaning, okay? I'm going to get right to it. A couple of things I use is this ash vac, okay? This is the brand Snow Joe. You can pick them up, Home Depot, Lowe's, so on and so forth. I may have a link down in the description for one of those things if you guys just want to grab one real quick. But they have an extra filter inside of them, which I'm going to show you inside of here. But I'm also going to show you some tips of what I do to keep this thing running efficiently and to actually get it started running efficiently, because I did not clean it out last season. So you guys get the luxury of seeing me clean it out now while it's cold outside and I want to turn this thing on. It's a secondary heating unit for us. We have our oil furnace that has been running already, and we want to get a little more heat blasted up into the house because it's getting really cold out there. So I'm going to get this thing worked out. Let's get to it. So first things first, we're just going to inspect everything. I go out, I open up, obviously inside of my firebox, it's dirty. I said that. I may have a brick or so that I need to change out. I'm not sure if any of these need to be changed out. We're going to check that. I'm going to check inside of here. I'm going to check inside of this one. We actually might be able to get some good views because look how dirty that is. Technology is great nowadays, and we have all these cool cameras, so you'll get a great view. But other than that, so we're going to suck all that out. We're going to get down in the bottom. We're going to clean all that out. We're going to brush everything out. And then we're going to get into the flue. We're going to work on cleaning out the flue. The chimney has this style, or these are cool. I'm going to use it. It's the first time I used it. So we're going to see it's like a little accordion. For this season, whether it's on your wood stove or your main furnace, you have to clean them out. We know that. It has this hard case frame, but it has this accordion filter. You see, I'm gonna see how it works, or comment like filter or something like that in the comments, and I'll maybe put that in the description. They're reusable, right? They come like this, and you can just put you put your other one up. I actually put this one in backwards because the arrow tells us which way to put the airflow in. So I'm just gonna switch that back out, and next I can take that out, clean out the hard case, and then just refill it with. When I bought it, it came with a bunch of refills, so I already have all the stocks. They're not. All right, so over here at the flues, these flues are obviously at a horizontal-ish angle, going up, and then go straight piped here. This isn't the ideal circumstance, but it was what was here when we moved into this house, which you will see later on an upgrade when we move that chimney box over here a little closer to this flue, just because I don't like all of this extra stuff. All right, so one of the first things I do is I have to check my chimney, and without ever getting on the roof, this is how I do it. I go over here, and in this style house and chimney, we just go down here to this box right here, and this is the clean out. Inside of here is where we have access to look at the chimney without ever getting on the roof. So this is what it looks like in there. Okay. And if you're not going to be changing out your air filter, and you don't change out your air filter, you should think about changing out your air filter, because this thing works a lot harder when it's dirty like this. Getting back into your home. That's pushing all of. Secondly, it's making your furnace work a lot harder. Like a lot harder. Sometimes it's beneficial to have a little back pressure. Need to be changed. Does it look like it's caked up? Go change it out. Okay? Shouldn't be that hard. And if you use.
Yeah.
We're just going to take out all these hex screws and remove this piece. Inside of my flue. And I snug it back like that to give myself a couple of inches. And we already took it off of here. So yeah, that needs to get cleaned. We're going to work on that. This is the other thing. Go ahead and just knock it around. If you have an exposed one like this, you could just hear all of the stuff inside of this. So this is a no-brainer. We're going to get into cleaning that. Right over top of that. That's obviously why we're wearing the mask here. It's quite dusty. Because let me tell you, that is a fire hazard, okay? By all means, that is a fire hazard. You do not want to turn your chimney on if you have that inside of your chimney. Creosote buildup is the #1 cause of fires, of home fires. Simple as that. It's a dangerous thing. If you have creosote buildup and you can follow through, you could do it yourself too. Everyone's a human. everyone learned, even the inspectors, even the ones that are professionals, people whom are professionals learned somehow. DIYers can learn. You can do this properly. You can do it right. See all that build up? And what you guys also notice? What else do you notice? That is single wall pipe. That's not any good either. This was going to be into triple wall pipe. Basically, we're cleaning out all these pipes using a brush, and I have some DIY tools that I use myself. I hooked a wire brush to the end of this thing and a pocket mirror. Take it all the way in there like this, and you can see, which we look nice and clean. We see not lots of sunlight. So, and that looks good for me. I know that my chimney is now cleaned. I didn't get to film the chimney cleaning part because, yeah. So now that I have the chimney flue and this angled flue in here done, I'm going to go over to the furnace and we're going to clean that thing out. And again, this is going to be really simple. We're just going to take off a couple of these hex bolts in different sections. We're going to vacuum it out with that vacuum, dump it out a few times, and it will be clean. We'll show you here in a minute. We're here, and this is basically my setup. It's going to be congested. Make sure you have a bucket. Have a bigger bucket to dump. Important. For those of you that don't know why this is important, this is why having an ash vac is important. Or a coal furnace. Make sure that you have an ash vac. If you've been cleaning this thing out with a regular shop vac, that's a big no-no. And this is the reason why. It has this filter. Do you see this filter? This filter doesn't allow any of that gunk in, okay? What this ash filter does is not only keeps all of those tiny particles from blocking this filter up, this is actually your safety mechanism, okay? When that thing turns on, ash and creosote is highly flammable, okay? And they happen. YouTube it. Go on and look right now. Look at shop vacs caught on fire from cleaning out ash. And it's the ash particles and the creosote particles will catch on fire from the friction of spinning around inside of your, not a major suction. This is a low volume suction, okay? So you do have to wiggle the hose around, clean this thing out, make sure it's not a ash vac. So now I'm gonna go in and start from the top to the bottom, okay? We already cleaned the doors. I'm going to check. This is another inspection that I'm doing. This rope around here, there's a rope. You can see how it's off-white, 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 all the way around. There's no gaps where it's black like this. And that means air could have been sucking in, and this would have created a gap right there. It has a nice seal all the way around. If you do need to change that out, well, I'm going to change that out in another video. Go to my playlists and check out and go to town, okay? Take your wire brush and just start working. Get all this crud off of here. Then we're going to get in here, we're going to scrub this down. I'm going to show you in the end what it looks like when I'm done, but go ahead, clean this thing out, and then I'm doing this because it gets pretty dusty in here, as I take my vacuum, and I just stick it inside and I leave it run. It's pretty low, but what it's doing is it's sucking out all that extra dust as I'm scraping. That will make it so it's a lot easier for you to breathe and see while you're inside of there because it collects all the dust and will just suck it right into the vacuum. And how do you know when it's clean? Well, that's a pretty simple answer. If you're asking yourself, is this clean enough? Then you're tightening a bolt and you don't know if it's tight enough, you should probably go back and retighten or check how tight it was. If you are not confident, redo it. Okay, one back here. These are fire bricks down here. Your furnace may or may not have fire bricks, so if it doesn't, then ignore that. Then ignore that when it comes up. But other than that, so when we go to clean this thing, what are we looking for? What is dirty? Well, let's look at. See how it flakes right off like that? This needs to be cleaned. This needs to be cleaned. More here. We can see the roof cleaned. So I need to keep scrubbing here. Inside here. We know we need to clean that stuff. Then we need to clean out all of this, your ash box. And when you go to do this bottom part, which you'll see in a second, take the entire drawer out. Clean it out thoroughly. Don't just clean out the bucket. And that is basically it. Suck out the rest of it, scrub down the rest of this door. But your furnace is practically clean at this point. If you have vacuum, but we're not exactly done yet, because now that it's cleaned, I need to go in and check inside of here. A brick, whatever you want to call it. This is a half of a fire brick, and this was inside of there, meaning that I know I have a cracked tile that I need to change. A fire brick, whatever you want to call it. I need to get in there, get the new one out. Torch on? What? Torch on?
Oh, I can't. I didn't.
So if we go in here, you'll see what I mean by the fire bricks. We want to replace that. I'm not quite done sucking all this out, but it's pretty good. But that crack... And I believe there's one along here that needs to be replaced. It's under here. This goes... I think there's one that's missing right over here that I need to put in place. Your outside gasket is ripped, broken, torn. Replace it. If you haven't replaced it in a year or two, just go ahead and replace it. Whatever you want. Take some heat silicone sealant, put the new rope in. Shows everything right on the package. You could buy a kit, right? So I am going to replace the tiles. Back in there, scrub up the last bits of what you got to scrub up. That's what I got to do is this last door. Scrub this down real nice. So if you have a firebox, especially one that's inside of your living room, this one's in my basement and it doesn't have the cool feature of the glass. If you go inside of your firebox and you get some of that ash and you mix it with a little bit of water and then rub it on that glass, right on the inside, just take a cloth, and if you are amazed by what happens when that happens, and if you are amazed, you make sure you come back and subscribe to my channel, because I have more. Use a little bit of ash, a little bit of water, and it cleans that creosote right off of the glass really, really easily. Or you can get 4-0 stainless steel wipes. Stainless steel. 4-0, not triple. Triples would work, but 4-0 is the best way. That also works for chrome. If you want to scrub out some chrome, get your 4-0. Now it's clean. We're going to start up high and work our way down low. Okay, but right now, a brush to everything. I have an assortment of different tools and things that I use to keep this thing clean. All right, so that completes that. We have installed some new bricks in the gasket because the gasket looks good. I will do another video on the gasket because I'm going to replace this gasket down here. I'm just a chimney sweep. Call someone who actually knows what they're doing. This is not a joke. It is not a game. This thing will burn your house down. It will burn your house down. It will burn your house down.